As you know, it's Friday night. So you know what that means? It's another episode of the Asea 5. And you know what? We had a request that we actually tell you who we are and why you're listening to us. You know, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, I think. Jim, hasn't it been since the pandemic? So we always figure you already know who we are. But just in case you don't, I'm Dr. Maureen Hayes. My background is I'm an anesthesiologist and pain specialist in Galveston, Texas. Full-time Redox educator now, have been doing that for about 9.5 years and loving it. I'm joined by Jim and Ann Glenn from San Antonio, Texas. And Jim is our big money man. He's a former stockbroker, an estate planner, and Ann is a personal trainer and nutritionist. And of course, Dr. Lee Osler needs no introduction. He is our author of 2 books that everybody loves, Redox Matters and Healthy Matters. And he is a dentist extraordinaire in Washington State, and also one of the founders and past presidents of AOSH, which is the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. So just a fund of knowledge there. And tonight we have a special guest, Dr. Ed de los Reyes, and I'm being careful because you guys, you were on last week.
You know, messed it up last week.
I won't live that down. So more mind, please. So actually, I love the fact that Dr. Ed has joined us today. He has a background that is very similar to my husband and mine. He started as a pediatrician. He's originally educated in the Philippines. He's Filipino. Came over to the States, got re-educated here, was a pediatrician at Howard University Hospital. And then went into anesthesia, became an assistant professor, did his residency at Bowling Green. So he's a pediatrician and a pediatric anesthesiologist, and then he went into pain management. So my husband is a pediatric anesthesiologist. I'm an anesthesiologist and pain specialist. So he overlaps with both of us, which I think is just absolutely incredible. And Dr. Ed, it was so great to see you a couple weeks ago in San Antonio, and I'm so honored and thankful that you're here today to share your story. So if you would take us back, because you have a great testimonial. Tell us how you were introduced to Asea and what your original experience was with these products. And before we get started, Dr. Lee, would you mind jumping on and giving our disclaimer for us and kind of telling people what we're talking about here?
I'd be happy to. As we get started here, we just remind everybody that Asea, which is the parent company that we are associate or independent affiliates with, is a nutritional supplement company by definition. And the FDA and the FTC require us to say that we do not treat, diagnose, or prevent or cure disease. This is a cellular biology, redox biology supplement, which we will be explaining more of as we go through our evening tonight. Back to you, Dr. Ed.
Good. Thank you so much. Let me just take this opportunity to thank you guys, Asea 5, for inviting me here. It is a great honor, and you just don't realize what you guys look like out in the field. Thank you for what you do, Jim and Ann, for having this kind of forum that all of us in the field can look into to bring people in that way they could be educated. This is the most scientific forum that we have. It's conducted live. From healthcare professionals that have personal experiences of this particular technology that we have. So thank you for that. For Jim and Ann, you were my inspiration. It was my first convention, and I saw you in the factory tour drinking the whole bottle of Asea, just jogging. And
I didn't think anybody was watching me.
Oh, I was
me like that.
I was watching and I said, oh, can you do that? And so me being culturally kind of shy, I just pick up 3 cups of Asea, 2 ounces cups, and I was drinking that. If he could drink a bottle, I can drink just this 3, because at that time I was just taking 1 cup twice a day. And my amazement, I had the best really relief and positive effects right after that. But I'll tell you the story later. And Maureen, you were there on my first ascent in Los Cabos, and I was so glad that there was somebody in my own profession that is doing this and have really great experience with this. Dr. Lee Osler, thank you so much for writing books and educating us all with the basic science of redox signaling molecules. And fantastic, right into the money. It's kind of my weakness, biochemistry, but I tried, and you made it simple for all and everybody of us in the field could understand. But here's my story with this one. Of course, my Asea story began in 2015. So after a long flight from my son's wedding, I came home, and all of a sudden I have this severe discomfort from the back running down to the right foot. And of course, I know what I need to be doing. So I have some pictures taken in my back. And then I went with my wife. She always have important things to do in the mall. So I did with her. And all of a sudden I got a call from my radiologist and say, you need to see a neurosurgeon as soon as possible. I said, what's wrong? What's that? I thought there was some kind of a big thing. So he explained things for me. And I said, okay. So I have a friend, a neurosurgeon. I called him right away. He said, the condition is this. Yeah, you need to go, and you need to just arrange things in that way. This can be done. You could have the procedure. I said, with my background, you could understand that. Maureen can understand this very well. We are chronic management specialists. Most of our patients have procedures done on them. And that's why they are in our clinic. And my bias against this is because of that. I know this kind of patients that comes into my things. They have this procedure, and not only just one, but several, just like Jim here, had a lot. And I cannot put myself into that. And I denied it. It took 5 spine surgeons and neurosurgeons that I have to talk to and do second opinions. And finally, they convinced me to go, that I need to have these things fixed. So I did. It's within my specialty. I know where to go. I went to Philadelphia. There's a group of 65 neurosurgeons. And then the one that I chose, which is the best one, luckily I have a cousin that works in that group as an anesthesiologist. And you know what? The best persons to ask to who are the best surgeons are the anesthesiologists. We are the ones watching who these guys and what these guys can do. Yes, exactly. So I have a cousin, and he told me his success rate is 90%. He is the busiest one in the OR. He always have cases every day, and his specialty is to put football players back to play. I said, oh, wow, that is good. And so I go, my condition is not as near as these football players who has spinal injury. So I went, and I was confident that things is going to be good and better. And I will go back and then be on my own again and be recovered. And of course I did. And then, but instead of being in the 90%, I belong to the 10%. It gotten worse. And I on my first day, I tried, and I have this will that I'm going to get better. So I stood up, I was on the walker, and I was very encouraged that this will be good. But as days would progress, and in fact, before I got discharged, I was offered to have this thing redone, to have this rearrange the screws and metal stabilizers again, because it just doesn't. But I said, no, I don't want to be like my patients. That is just, I said, this will heal. And I said, no, you can no longer work. I said, no, I did not come here for that. I'm not ready for that. So I said, so I asked my surgeon, can you just release me on my own supervision? So I did, and I changed a lot of modalities. I dropped my pain practice because I have to wear a 20-pound jacket. And they brought me to Kentucky because at that time, to build this stuff, I built it from 6 procedures a day to 40 procedures a day. And then, but we wear this 20-pound lead jacket from
X-rays.
Yes, for X-rays. Yeah, exactly, for X-rays to protect us. And because of the number of procedures that we do, we could never take it off. From 7:30 to 5 o'clock, that's you wear this 20-pound thing. And of course, I was here in Bowling Green since 2005, and this was already 2015, 10 years after. And so I have that one, and then I was walking, And I changed that one. I did not do pain management anymore. I didn't do procedures. I went into the anesthesia division of our practice. I was supervising CRNAs, and that's what I do. The thing is that I go to work and I am on a walker. And my own specialty put me on 5 modalities so that I could just be functional. They gave me some medicine to confuse my brain that I don't have pain. I am on 2 narcotics. I am an anti-inflammatory, and I was given sleeping pill, but nothing worked. Every night, this severe discomfort just wakes me up, and I have to change position every night. So every follow-up that I have, that second back procedure is offered, and I always keep on denying it. So no, I don't want it. I keep on functioning and keep on functioning. After a year and on my annual follow-up, I was already discouraged at the time. I was frustrated. And it's just like there's a big monster in my back. And if you give me a knife on my own, I will yank it out and so that it's just going to come out. And I agreed that I'm going to have this second back procedure. And so with that, my surgeon is a busy one. So it took 2.5 months to find a place for me to be scheduled. But that was a lot for me because it was at this time that I was introduced to Asea. And it was introduced to me by my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. And out of respect, I did not ask any questions. He said, well, this people is not going to kill me. It's not going to give me poison. And just out of respect, I'm just going to use it. Okay, I will order some. He asked me to be committed to commit on it for 3 months. I said, I could do that. I'm just going to do that for 3 months. But back in my mind, I was 100% sure that this will not work. Out of respect, I'm just going to do this for him and for my wife, of course. This is my wife's brother. And yeah. Yes.
How long had they been a part of the company, and did they have any big experience with the product that they shared with you to give you any reason to do it, or was it just out of love and respect?
No, they have. The wife has asthma, and the wife has a lot of problems, autoimmune problems that got really good with it and really become functional, got better with all this things that they're doing. And they heard about the back pain issues also of other people, and they heard that I became disabled with it, and then they just want to share the product to me. So that was the start. And I said, okay, we order it, and this product came in, and I started drinking. I was not hopeful, and I was just drinking 2 ounces in the morning and 2 ounces at nighttime. And I was robbing this Renew 28. I said, this is not going to work and everything. But it has that cooling effect because of maybe my house is cold. And I just like that one. So I put it in the back because of this warm and hot and discomfort. I just put that, and in 1 week's time of using it, I had the best sleep I ever had. Just 1 week, 5 days exactly. And because I could not, before every hour, it just wakes me up. And I could not be comfortable. And this one, for 4 hours straight, I was not disturbed. I said, whoa, what is this? And then the next day, it becomes better. The next day becomes better and better and better. Within that 2.5 period of time, I was able to wean off myself from this walker. I was able to wean off myself from the 5 modalities that I was on. And I just waited a few days before my scheduled procedure. Then I called it up and canceled it. So
real quick, your 5 modalities, I'm assuming we're talking medications?
Medications, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys speak your doctor talk, and I ain't no doctor.
I'm just
drugs that we use for pain.
I was on 3 for my stuff, but anyway, go ahead, Doc.
I was on 5. They tried to hit every receptor that can be blocked to just confuse my body that I don't have this thing. and it didn't work, and I was able to be free of it. And so I was a life that was changed. But you know what? I did not give a credit to Asea. I said my prayers were answered, and thank you, Lord, for that. And then this is placebo effect, and I'm good with it. And I said, yeah, in our practice, there's a placebo effect, and I go my way. I never talk, and I said, and I was good. I was cool again. I don't have that crippling look again. Until my mom has this condition. Well, 4 years before this, she has a brain condition that will not allow her to talk anymore. So for 4 years, I kind of lost her because I'm the only one that's farthest. My other siblings live with her nearby in California, and I could not call her. We lost that kind of communication. And my intentions was just to give her a good sleep and then to give her a good energy in the morning. And so I let her try it, and she was drinking it. And in 2 weeks' time, to my surprise, her speech came back. And before that, in 4 years' time, she could not speak. She had, of course, this non-movement on the right side, and she was just always stoic. She was just flat and just staring at us. And in 2 weeks' time, she got her speech back. She got her smiles back. She got her everything back, and asking where her money is and who's taking care of it, and getting mad at us for not doing things. And my mom is back in just 2 weeks period of time. This caused me to really took a second look on it. I said, what is this voodoo? And I need to know about this. And it was at this time that I did my research. I went to PubMed and what is this things, and redox signaling molecules. And all of a sudden somebody's presented that, the scientist won this Nobel Prize, nitric oxide. When I was in pediatrics in the 80s, this was the most promising drug that we would been waiting for. Things that could fix the pulmonary aspect of things, but does not patch the systemic component. And we were waiting for it in the 80s. And then in 1997, these three scientists won the Nobel Prize for their discovery of a redox signaling molecule, a type of signaling attack. With all my readings and the things, it's just oxidative stress. What is this all about? You look at it, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of articles about redox signaling molecules, oxidative stress, and things. And I said, no, I this is still abstract to me. I need to talk to somebody. I really need to talk. And I was led to this medical atomic physicist, Dr. Gary Samuelson. I really owe him a lot. And he was able to converse with me of all the studies that he reviewed before he worked on stabilizing the molecules when the company assumed, this biotech company, that could not stabilize the molecules. He taught me about those different studies. What amazed me, being in this field, Maureen could attest to it, is we were supposed to be a surgical wash. And it's amazing that up to this date, the surgical wash that we have is only an antibiotic. And the antibiotic only kills bacteria. And Maureen is familiar with when they ask for surgical wash, I need my wash. So we're happy, we're celebrating. As anytime soon, we're closing, we're done with this case. And then that's the only thing we hear about it when you say, wash, good, we're done here. But
yeah, dial down the gas, right?
Exactly, dial down and everything. Up to hold on that one. We're nearing here, and it's only for bacteria. And here comes something that is for bacteria, that is for fungus, for any pathogenic organism that can come, including viruses. And what is most important and the key to this is it promotes cellular healing. Where can you find a thing like that? The surgical wash that we have right now doesn't touch cellular healing. Sometimes it even impedes cellular healing. But this one is. It's so pretty amazing about that. And then he talks to me about its action on the abnormal cells, on this thing. I said, I'm just pretty amazed. I said, no, that could not be, until he told me It only works in one thing. It only works in cells. And I said, okay, I can understand that now. Because at first it was like kind of a snake oil. It does this thing, it does this thing, it does this thing. No, it's just on one thing. Fortunately, every organs that we have, every system that we have has those cells that it can work. So out of that, I became passionate. And then he told me about this Renew 28, about the cellular healing with it. And of course, in that time manner, I have this third experience in my own family. My son, my daughter-in-law, and my granddaughter, 18 months, visited us in the house. It was a good reunion. We were talking, gathered all around and everything. My wife came in and we were just having a great conversation. My wife bringing her tea, very newly made tea, and just left it in the side table. And we got busy. There was distractions and everything, but all the talk. We didn't know that my granddaughter grabbed this almost boiling hot tea, had an accident, slapped it on the face, the neck, and the chest, and just cried. And my daughter-in-law grabbed her. As soon as she grabbed her, the skin peeled off. And I know what kind of damage it caused. At least the first and the second level of the skin that is gone. And I'm an anesthesiologist. That's what we do. Critical things, we have this fast thinking and we could do things, but this one I was frozen. It was just my wife was shaking me, get the Renew 28 and do that. I was just staring at my granddaughter screaming. So she did. We slapped it on her, on everything, the things, and then we drove to the nearest children's hospital, which was an hour away from me. We lived in Bowling Green, Kentucky. An hour away from me is Nashville, Tennessee. We went straight to Vanderbilt University, and then within the 30-minute period time that we were driving, my granddaughter was back to playing. Pain's gone, just playing, and I said, okay, that is good and everything. And we keep on applying this and we keep on spraying and we let her drink. And of course, it's understandable being a pediatrician, 18-month-old, they heal quickly. But what is amazing about it that I was so surprised, this is second-degree distortion of the skin layers, and it will scar and it will have discoloration. This one, it healed in a month with nothing, as if nothing happened. She's highly pigmented, much darker than me, and she recovered fully and not even the skin discoloration. After that, my wife had the thing and her own experience, but I was just keeping it within my family. I thought the good Lord just blessed my family to find these things until one day, she's an associate also, and she's a platinum. I could mention their names. Joel and Girly Dumapias came to the house and just asking a referral. Who's the best surgeon who can fix his shoulder? He already went to physical therapy. He already went to every modality, medications here, massage here, anything, and finally was recommended to have these things fixed by a procedure, and asking for the best surgeons that I could. So of course, we shared with the same building with orthopedic surgeons. There's 16 of them, orthopedic surgeons, occupied the first floor of their building, and we rented their building on the second floor, and we occupied that on our pain management thing. So I know them, I saw them work and everything, and I just give them the referral. Before I forgot, I said, you know what? I have this thing. I have this Renew 28. Can you just apply that? And I recommend you get this water and just try that while all these things, it's not going to happen next week that you're still going to have a consult while you're waiting all these things. Just try that. After a week or two that they were taking this one and applying, they called me. They said, what is this stuff? Joel can now raise his hands and no limitations of movements and everything. I said, wow. I myself said, this thing works. It already worked in my own family, but it's sharing it with others. It works. I thought it was just exclusively for my family. And these things, and out of her, so many experiences just came up and came up and came up. And I said, I'm going back to practice, but I could not because these things keep on bombarding us and bombarding us with great, really personal experience. We do a lot of compassionate work, and this one, I cannot imagine the experiences that we have, one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. So that's how I got started, and I'm passionate, and I'm happy, and I'm glad that you guys have brought me here in to tell my story to the whole world. I keep on telling it, and in the Philippines, I do a regular Zoom with them just to help them out. But thank you guys, and I could tell you more and more and more stories, but this is it. I know we don't have that much time to keep on talking, but yes, if you happen to have any other questions, I like that one.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Go ahead, Ann.
Well, I was just going to say, when you had said at the beginning, the medications you were on confused the brain, thinking Jim went through that all the years I watched him on meds. It was really never solving. It was just doing that confusing. So I like how you worded that. And here, this is non-toxic, doesn't have side effects. So any age group can use it. And you saw that, of course, in your little one. And I've seen it work on burns, and it's neat how it goes after the inflammatory genes. So it, even in a matter of minutes, even though you might still have the burn, but the discomfort is already lessening. And I'm sure that you could see that with her. And then in time, like you said, that scarring, you can't even see it. I mean, when I was, I started at 50, at 51 and a half, I saw a birthmark go away, the size of a small orange. And I did not expect that. That was just, an abnormal cell and where'd it go? And that's what's so neat about the signaling that it does. So I was curious about what you said to the family with your mom having that limitation. So you couldn't really, you communicated, I'm assuming, through family or through a caretaker. What did you say to convince them to have mom experience these molecules? I mean, you just called one day?
No, we have a committee. We're 6 siblings, and it has to be approved by the 6 people. And there's 4 of us that are in the medical field, and of course I'm the only one for it. And they says no. And of course we have this budget for mom, we have these things, and we pitch in everything. And then, this is going to be in the budget now. This is going to be, I said, it's mom's, and we need to do this thing. So, and they agreed and said, you know what? No, it's not going to come out of our budget. It's going to come out on my budget, and I'm giving it to mom, and let's have mom do this thing. When she started talking, of course, the budget was approved, and then we got these things. And everybody gets excited. I have a sister that's a dentist, and started using it in her practice, and she's just amazed about what it does, and for my mom to be back and be with us, and that is just an amazing thing. And of course, as she is just in bed because of this non-movement on the right side, and she developed some ulcers and this and some things in the skin lesions and everything, and we apply these things, and we spray these things, and we use this as a wash, and it takes care of this, and non-toxic, and can just easily be used, and for everything. And the funny thing is that I have 4 kids and I have 6 grandchildren, and everybody has this thing in their household, and awesome. It has lessened their calls to their pediatrician. It has lessened their visits to the ER. It has lessened everything on calling me because they have these things. And I told them, if the kids, whatever abnormality that they have, and if you're trying it, before you call me, you give them this one first. Let them drink this one. Let them think. The good thing about it is this, of course, Maureen and I, and of course, Dr. Lee, we are just used to a lot of things to do so that we could achieve a diagnosis, and that way we could give a specific treatment for it. This one, you don't even need to have a diagnosis. You just give it, you just put it in your body, and this molecules is going to search which is the abnormality, and it's going to fix it, and it's going to do things. And I said, wow, why, what is this thing? And we keep on doing it, we keep on doing it, and we keep on receiving and having, and almost all organizations, almost all localities that are using it have testimonials and personal experience that they could share. So I do this webinar on a weekly basis. And people are telling me that before they have to look for somebody that can do a personal experience story. This one, you don't. You just attend on a weekly basis, and people will just raise their hand. No, I have a story. I have a story. And they keep on doing that, and they keep on doing this. And these are new people and new people and new people, and amazing. So that's just what it is. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. If you don't mind my pointing out, when you were telling your story and you were talking about people bringing it to you, and you knew them and you honored them, and you just took the product and you believed them, and your family as well. And I was so jealous, honestly, because here in the States, my brothers and sisters were like, what? You're a physician. What is this? Snake oil? I mean, they were not on board. They did not care. And it took a while for them to have their own personal experience with it. And I love it. So then you were saying, when you put your mom on it, they didn't want to put it in the budget. So it really, people are the same all over the world. It's funny how skeptical people are of something that is foundational, that is not just natural, but it's innate to the body. We're just correcting an imbalance or a deficit. That's all we're doing. And it allows the body to do what it needs to do. But it's funny how reluctant they will take pills till the cows come home. Everybody, in fact, you probably experienced this in my pain clinic. If I just, gave them the wealth of my knowledge, and they'd be like, thank you. Am I getting a prescription? It was like not worth it if they weren't leaving with a script in hand. I was like, really? But yeah, you talk to them about something that's natural, that we're just fixing a bioidentical molecule, right? Just a deficit, something we're doing. And they're skeptical. So interesting. So I love your story, Dr. Ed. And I'll hand it over to you guys for some questions.
I'd like to ask if you could describe in your own words, how you explain this to people. You said you weren't a biochemistry, whatever. You don't really have to be a biochemistry, whatever, to explain this. But whether it's a patient or just, somebody else who's saying, Dr. Ed, what is redox signaling? How would you explain it to somebody who doesn't know?
Yeah. Well, I'm a man of faith, and I always do medical surgical missions through compassion work and advancing the missions of the gospel. And that's what we do. And the good Lord has created us perfectly. And the good Lord has created our bodies to have an inner doctor. And I like Dr. Lee's description of it, that this is the inner doctor within us. That it is part of us, that we could heal ourselves. And it's there that unfortunately we put these bodies off balance because of the things that we do to our bodies, the things that we don't do to our bodies. And then if you just put this one back and activate that inner doctor in you, then you could be healthy again. You could be just like me, taken off from disability and then taken off from a walker and come in here. You could be just like my mom, speaking again and talking. And this is it. And how it works now is just, they let me explain what it is. I like the new definition of hunter. I was just in San Antonio describing this, that these are really tiny molecules that are easily absorbed in your cell membrane. And once it penetrates your cell membrane, it turns off switches off and on, and then it creates a cascading effect. Thereby, it promotes cellular well-being and health. And so that's just the short things for that one. But if you want into the scientific things, and if you are really going to look into this, like me as a medical professional, and it's not It's not in the doctor's offices. Nobody knows about this in the clinical aspect of things, except for us who has personal experience with this one. But you know what? In the research division, in the research category of our own medical health, this is pretty well known. Almost all researchers knows about these things. They're talking for years and years now of oxidative stress. Now they're finding out, no, this is caused really by something even much deeper than that. And then now we're shying away from, oh, oxidative stress is bad. And thanks for Dr. Lee's book. And we're learning that no, oxidative stress is not really 100% bad. It's even good. We need some of those to trigger as a signaling to trigger our bodies to become stress resilient bodies that would react to these kinds of things. But there are over 200,000 articles about redox imbalance and these things, but it hasn't crossed the clinical aspect of our healthcare. And the good thing about this is that this community of us, this Asea community, knows about this thing, that there is a therapy for this redox imbalance, that we ourselves are seeing the effects. We are seeing this with our own mom, or with our own selves, with our own kids, with our own families, with our own friends. And this is not just a meeting kind of story. This is what's happening right now, that we are doing these things. So take care of it. Be very careful with this. That's why we always have this disclaimer and everything, because we want to last until this advisory boards or whatever, the decision makers will take note of this and will bring this back on the other side, that this will be in the doctor's office and everything. It doesn't have to be in the doctor's office. Why? There's no LD50 in this thing. There's no toxicity. Everybody can have it. Jim took a jog of this thing for just how many minutes. He got the whole bottle and everything. And Jim's still here and alive, and even much more alive. And this is what we got. And I'm just so happy that we have these things. And it is a blessing from the Lord to reveal us his own creation that is there, that we ourselves are distorted because we put a lot of stresses in ourselves. Before, I thought the stresses in life is just psychological. It's just the management of time. It's just something that we need to do. But you know what? There are pathogenic stresses when you introduce infection into your body. There are genetic stresses that can be right from the start of the beginning. Your body is already stressed. Your cells are already stressed. It puts you off redox imbalance right away, right from there. That's why Dr. Lee described this as something epigenetic before genes has occurred. This is redox molecules. This is redox technology. And you have it. We have it. We have it in our own household. I know this is going to be in every household in the world. But the good thing about it, this might put us out of business, those who have a license to practice and write prescriptions. But it's a pretty exciting thing. But and not just that about it, but there's something that works, and it really works. So some people have said, "Oh, I took this for already 2 weeks, and nothing's happening." It's not receptor oriented. It is cellular repair. You destroyed the cells for years, and you wanted an overnight repair, or you want it to be repaired in 2 weeks' time. Give it time. Be patient. 90 days. Give it that 90 days. I was decided that, okay, I will do this in 90 days. But you know what? In 5 days' time, I got this feeling effect. And then I was just taking 2 and 2 until I saw Jim. And then when I come home, I increased to 4 and 4. And I had great relief. I didn't know. Because in my own pain practice, I always tell my patients, oh, that pain will always be there. You just have to think we'll just make you functional and do that things. And after I increased my dose, I didn't know that the pain can be gone, can be totally gone. And from a pain scale of a 10 to down to a 6, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I am already good at that. And I was just drinking 2 and 2, but I didn't know that when I increased my dose to 4 and 4, that pain can be eliminated. And now I'm not on those medications. But Jim mentioned about that I am partially retired because I am a sucker of need. They could not hire. I left and I retired in 2017, and they still could not hire replacements. And this is already 2021, 2022, 23, and they just need me. So there were 7 of us and 35 CRNAs in the practice, and now there's just 2 of them, and they couldn't take vacation. So I said, okay, I could help some weekends for you guys. So I went back. But the good thing is that I was able to do things again that I was doing before, and with no meds, and just an extra dose of this Asea. And I'm glad we have this redox potential. We have this we have this energy and mind and mode that could help me farther in functionality and everything. But no meds, nothing. No metabolites to accumulate into my system that can be stuck up in my kidneys and in my liver. And it's a great thing. So
That's such a great.
One of my friends down in Corpus Christi, hopefully he's watching, Butch Harris, he saw your testimonial, Ed, and it just blew him away because it took so long for you to believe. Having been one that's had multiple back issues as well, Ed, there are so many people out there right now that are hurting, and it took you and me to get to a point of what I call until people. They're not going to do anything until something goes wrong. But all the people out there that are in discomfort, and I'll tell you right now, though, I am not 100% absolutely free of all my discomfort. And I've had a stimulator put into my back. That was my 10th procedure. I don't know if you were doing those, but I used it for maybe a month or 2, and then I didn't like that. But I've got my functionality back. We can go hiking, we can go do snow skiing and basketball and tennis. But speak to the people out there, Ray, because again, you had to go through a lot. 4 or 5 different things before you finally contributed it to this. Can you say something to them that, just because I'll be frank with you, I'm an ex-stockbroker. If somebody would have come into my office and said, oh, we've got something that can actually work on anything that has a cell, plants, animals, and humans, I would have said, bye. It sounds crazy. It sounds like snake oil. It sounds too good to be true. Speak to those people out there.
yeah,
I think you already have, but just
I'm not into convincing people really, and I respond very well for those people that approach me for help and need, and that's what I always would do. I just respond to things, and for them there is this one, and I would like to put it in them. I would like to just rub it 3 times in 5 minutes, and then let them feel it, let them have it. And see it, and then just let them try. And I could tell them my story, and I could tell them my thing. But to what I am not good at is just to basically just tell people that, hey, there's something here that is. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet to just keep on announcing it that they have not approached me. I think I have not gone out yet of my own traditional medical thinking that I am just in the office and people come to my office and ask for prescription, just like what Maureen is. And I do the same still with this one. I'm just at home, and I am able to speak and able to inform people through forums like this one and through weekly webinars that I have. But to be able to just knock on doors and tell, because I did that one when I got rid of the things, and I talked to the 7 partners that I have, 5 partners and two employees, that, hey guys, this is what I was. there's 7 people with different opinions and different things, and seven different backgrounds, and we could never agree on each other and everything. I said, forget about it. I'm just not doing these things. But if you needed help later, that nothing works, I can talk to you. And then my favorite thing is that people, and I would readily approach people who I know that has not been given hope by anything. And I would approach that there's, you know what, you have not been given hope. You could try this. And you could do this. You have this, friends. And I know I put in dorsal column stimulators. And that's kind of the last ditch that we do for our patients. And if they're like that, I said, hey, there's better ways. I don't want gadgets to be attached to your bodies and everything. Try this. And then see if this internal repair on the really foundational cells can make you comfortable, can revert things for you. And just keep on doing, increasing the dose, and they will, especially for those kinds of people that you're mentioning, Jim, that are in really all the receptors and all those things have already been blocked. And nothing else is functioning. The discomfort is just so severe. And I think those are the ones that's going to have significant relief in these things, because just like me, that's what my stage was, a pain scale of 10. And then before I became a patient on my own specialty, and my patient would come in and say, what's your pain scale? Then a 20, doc. No, it's just from 0 to 10. And I could say that same thing. It's a 20. And then to bring down that thing from 10 and bring me down to 6, I said, wow, I was happy. But I never thought that 6 can even be gone. We just increase in this dosing things. And then it comes back when you are challenged, when you bend quickly, when you run, you respond to the ER, you respond to this procedures that you need to be doing. And you push some stretchers, and then when you take a halt, this discomfort is going to come back again. And the good thing is that you could just be, just like Jim Glenn, get a jug of these things and then just drag it up, and then and it's a good thing. And once you do that, it even gives you a lot more energy to do more things while you do that.
Yeah.
People are making some questions over here to the side, and maybe Lee, this is something you can address, because it really does sound kind of crazy when it says, well, and Gary Samuelson actually said this, well, does the issue you have involve a cell? If it does, it'll work. So Lee, can you maybe touch on that, and then also touch why this is not an FDA drug?
Yeah, we can start there. We probably even restate the disclaimer, again, because we are, in describing things, we want to use words that are meaningful to the FDA. And so, we talk about issues that create discomfort, and we're careful not to use words that are more in the medical jargon. And so the disclaimer again is we are not diagnosing, treating, or preventing anything. And this is a cellular health thing. It's about redox biology. People say, well, what does redox mean? That's just a fancy, chemistry term. And it's a contraction word that means reduction, oxidation. That's what it stands for. And basically, it's just the movement of electrons from one molecule to another molecule, or one atom to another molecule. And that has to do with the role of oxygen inside the cell as well. We eat food and we create glucose or fatty acids or amino acids. That's what is digested into. And our cells use that fuel source to burn in the mitochondria to create energy. That's the factory or the furnace where our bodies get energy from. In the process of doing that, the oxygen required for that metabolic or oxidative process creates what we call reactive oxygen species. You'll see that as ROS in many articles. And for decades, we've taken antioxidants or antioxidant vitamins to donate an electron to reduce or remove the effect of this dangerous oxygen leftover molecule called superoxide. And these are big terms, but it just means that we're trying to eliminate the effects of having combusted or metabolized or converted fuel into energy. And it's that leftover oxygen molecule that this is all about, because why we have tried to eliminate them in the last 4 or 5 decades, creating a huge vitamin industry, it turns out, and this was part of that cell signaling thing that Dr. Ed was talking about earlier, it turns out that these same reactive molecules are used by the cell to do gene expression and gene silencing. That's what turns on and turns off the DNA, which is necessary if we're going to produce all of the responsiveness to the stress and adversity that we encounter every day, every minute, that we're alive. And so what we have with Asea is a way of replenishing some of the important parts of this cell signaling methodology that our cell naturally figures out, that we've been blessed with, to replenish it and to restore it to optimal levels, especially as we get older or we become sicker. And so when we're less able to function, when we're less able to do that cell signaling, the turning on and the turning off of these processes, we can now use a replenishing supplement to assist in that process that makes us better able to respond to the world around us and to stay healthy. And so when we talk about restoring health, we're just simply reinvigorating, we're renewing, we're rejuvenating the cell's natural, innate, inherent ability to respond to the stress in the world around us. And I don't know how I can make it more simple, although many people can do that without a lot of fancy words, but that's the whole point, is in accomplishing that, we're restoring the cell's ability to function like we used to could when we were much younger.
Cool. Dr. Ed, you said that you're actually starting to share this now. You're actually growing a business?
Yes, I am. At first, I was just doing it as a preferred customer, really. And then I was referring people to my brother-in-law's website, because they see me walking with a walker, and now I'm just walking straight. And then, what have you done? And I just drank this thing, and where can I get it? And so I just referred them to them. And then so many times, and come to think of it, I told my wife, maybe we could just have our own website. And so, and that's what I did. And I went to my first convention in Salt Lake City when I saw you. And then with that, we qualified for our first ascent, and that's when I saw Maureen. And then and the other conventions that we were into, I saw Dr. Lee, of course, and this thing. So now I am, and I'm not good about approaches. It's what you tell what approach would I do for all these people? And I think I need to learn that, and to get out of that mentality of I'm a physician and I sit at my table and people come to me and ask my help. And so I need to be able to be proactive about these things. But one thing that I do and we do is that we always bring this Renew 28 with us in our pocket, because so many times you can have the opportunity to be able to make a difference in people, and we are taught to make a difference in people. And I've seen it in my own thing that Renew 28 can do a lot of things. A child just run over into the things, and if they don't mind, can I just do this thing? And I of course I have an advantage to anybody, because I could tell them I'm a physician and I can do these things. And in the Philippines, in the third world countries, and it's no problem. Here we kind of become very cautious, but we do. You see somebody. I was on vacation in one time with my wife in Mexico. I saw some lady limping and really hard, and her daughter just trying to make things that they could move and everything. And I said, if I could help, and I introduced myself, and I just want to do these things, and immediately it did, and they were able to do things, and you're not giving anything that would be toxic for them, and I assure them that this is not going to harm you, and I tell them that we're just going to try it, and did, and you could do that, and the effect, and those tubes got some labels that they could call back if they need it, and so that's the kind of things that I do. And of course, I do a lot of helping my associates build my team on the left and right, and that's how I do. I call first. I'm still on my warm contacts, just like my own classmates doesn't even believe me. I know you when you were in med school, so kind of things. I'm still there in my warm.
What was that, Maureen?
I said, my colleagues keep offering me a job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't caught on quite yet. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that with this gel, I tell anybody, you can validate this in whatever period of time. Just go out and ask 10 people, do you have any discomfort? I've got this crazy stuff. Shake the tube. I saw you shaking your tube, and try it. Now, how do you explain real quick? And we're all, we were supposed to end 13 minutes ago, Maureen. Oh, well.
yeah.
But how do you, Maureen, maybe with you, how do you explain that when we touch the gel wherever, how is that causing that discomfort to
Diminish.
go bye-bye? I mean, how do you explain that? What is that?
It's so interesting. And I was listening to Dr. Ed and talking about, his pain his discomfort going away. Sorry. And I was thinking about when I did practice, and Dr. Ed, you were probably the same. I would tell my people, I can't get you. Well, I can get you to zero pain, but you probably won't be conscious. But, what we're aiming for really is about a level of 3. So you can be distracted. And, even when we talk about putting in a spinal stimulator and stuff like that, that little buzzing sensation and all is distracting so that people can enjoy life. They can go to a movie, they can go out to dinner. Their pain is not gone. But, you take something like this gel, and you guys probably saw me putting it on my throat. I started coughing. I'm just having one of those nights. And, it's very soothing. So, somebody was asking about, how do you share this? How do you prove this to people? The gel is the fastest way to do it. And Dr. Ed, you were talking about that. When you apply it, it gets absorbed. There is what Hunter was teaching us at the last impact is we talk about these tiny molecules that go into the body, and they start a cascade effect or dominoes effect. They cause one thing to happen that kind of spreads out. And so what we have found is that if you apply it 3 times in 5 minutes somewhere where you're having discomfort, it very quickly can, and in about 90% of people, it has a significant response in the body. And often if you will put it on the neck, there's a lot of important things that run along these 2 muscles here, like your carotid arteries and all, and it gets taken up, and it has an effect very quickly. And so, I was coughing, so I put it on my throat, and it calmed things down. I also took a swig of the liquid, if you saw that. So, it's amazing. Use the gel. Like Dr. Ed said, when you're taking the liquid and you're using it internally, that's a commitment. You're looking for cellular repair. And I love, Dr. Ed, the way you explain that. It's not a receptor thing. We're not playing with hormones. We're repairing the cells. So it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be a quick response. It's going to take some time. So, but for a quicker response, use the gel. And that can get people's attention. And then you can help them with a more complete healing with the liquid and the gel. So I hope that.
Yeah. So as we say, we heal with the liquid, which came out 13 years ago, from the inside out, and then the gel we can topically apply to the boo-boo areas and then do the healing from the outside in. Any last words, Dr. Ed? Hey guys, and I have to admit, I forgot to hit the record button. My cohorts here didn't remind me. So we're going to do the best that we can to capture the whole recording. And I'm going to leave that up to Dr. Lee. He's magical with that. But
we do have 40 minutes on tape, and then we have it live on ASEA United. You'll be able to replay. So
that's good. We'll be able to capture. But what are your parting words, Doctor? Because again, I just look at you. Your story is phenomenal, and it still amazes me that it took 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 things for you, because you have a medical brain. Now, I don't have a medical brain. I saw what it did to my best friend's kid, and it was like, it worked, and I didn't care what was in it. I just knew that I had to get it, and I had a rapid response as well, and I drank more than most. But what are your parting words to folk out there?
Well, it's God's given gift to all of us to reveal His creation and what we can do to humanity, and I'm just so glad that it went into the right hands with the company owners that we have, the founders that we have, who emphasize about ethos, about compassion. And that's what we are here. And that's why I'm doing it. Because if I was doing for the money, I could easily get that from the other side and everything. And I will still be staying at my table and patients will be coming in. And I don't have to be challenged about going out there and getting the message to them. But they are. And it's in the right hands. And for us and each and every one of us, hey, this is for the long haul. This is going to be crossing across the research division, which is this redox signaling molecules is highly known, and to cross over to the clinical aspect that it can be there into your doctor's office and then it can be used. But you know what? We have it. And right now, this community and our ASEA community is experiencing these things. And we already have these things within our families. Our families are using this. This is the advantages that we have. And then just don't abuse it. And we always keep on doing the disclaimer because we want this to last. That we want that these things really, that the whole world can experience these things. And while it's still not there, and while regulatory commissions is still under their hands and they could do whatever they could do with it, it's just take care of it because this is something. But I like the company that we have. They do everything for this one and decide to do this. And it's up for us to be responsible. We don't have to really go into these things and go with the networking aspect of things. You don't have to. You don't have to make up stories. You just tell the truth and tell it honestly, and nothing like superb things that you do, because everything that is done is already a praise the Lord thing, and it just natural and it happens. Keep it, share it, and then be compassionate. And truly, you are able to help others. And while helping others, you are making what you want to make. And that's the honest truth about this thing. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I do want to upgrade one word. It's not natural, it's absolutely native. It's made inside of you. It can cause zero harm. Dr. Ed, thank you so much. And we would love to have you come back and share more with us. Next week, guys, it's going to be about the business portion. We've got Danny Doyle and Jerry Yerke will be our 2 guests next week talking about networking. And guys, just remember, if it wasn't for networking, you wouldn't be here. It's word of mouth that gets this out to everyone. So, Dr. Maureen, as always, thank you, dear.
Appreciate you.
And Dr. Lee, you're awesome.
Thank
and
you,
Dr. Ed, and thank your wife. I know she's right there on your left-hand side. Stick her head in and say hi. Come on, girl. There you go. Thank you. And maybe next time we'll see that disgusting picture of your finger.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. God bless.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
You.
Bye-bye.
Great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.